Hi, tell me how I can help you.
Hi. Well, today I'm not having a good day because I cried all night. I'm very depressed. My boyfriend left me yesterday and told me he had fallen in love with someone else. And I don't know what to do because I feel really bad. I feel depressed. I don't even want to get out of bed because besides my boyfriend leaving me, I feel like I'm worthless, that he left me for someone else, and that I'm nothing.
Well, thank you for sharing how you feel. But let's take it step by step. Let's separate things. First of all, let's talk about the weight of words. When you say, my boyfriend left me, you're putting yourself in the position of an object, a disposable package, a doll that someone used to play with and now doesn't want to play with anymore. That's not right because you're not a package that someone just leaves behind. Actually, your boyfriend decided to end a relationship, and that's his issue. It has nothing to do with your worth. You are the same valuable person you were yesterday when you were in a relationship with him as you are today, now that he decided to end the relationship. We are not objects that are left behind. In reality, we are people, and someone else does not define who we are. His actions do not define who we are. We are the same valuable person we were yesterday, whether we are in a relationship with him or not anymore. That doesn't matter. And that's something we need to keep in mind because it's very important that we don't put ourselves in the position of being objects or someone who was left behind because no one leaves us. They simply end a relationship with us because it's their decision. It doesn't even have anything to do with us.
I had never thought about it that way.
Of course, our value doesn't change because of someone else's decisions. We are the same person we were yesterday. It's normal to feel pain from the loss and to go through a grieving process. And sadness is part of that. But we need to separate the pain of losing a relationship we had from the value we have as people. We are going to allow ourselves to grieve, which will take time, but we won't do it from the perspective that we are useless things without value, and that's why we were abandoned. We are going to do it understanding that it's okay to be sad because a relationship ended, but also understanding that we are still valuable people and that probably when some time has passed, we will meet someone who can see that value and will want to share their life with us. We need to learn to value ourselves again because grieving is not the same as feeling like we are unworthy people and that's why we were left, since all that does is add extra pain to the loss and the grief. And that's not right because it's not true, because we are just as valuable and because we weren't abandoned. It was simply a relationship that ended.
Thank you. It really helps me to hear it put that way.
Hello, everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that's complicated but very necessary: how to deal with a breakup. And above all, we're going to try to separate two things that often get mixed up: the pain of loss, which is natural, and the idea that our self-worth decreases. For this, we're basing ourselves on, well, a very revealing conversation between a therapist and someone who's really struggling after their relationship ended. The goal is to see what key takeaways we can get from that, right? Especially in how we use language and how we approach the situation so we don't destroy our self-esteem.
Of course, that's the crux of the matter, isn't it? A breakup hurts, sometimes a lot, but the real danger is that pain making us feel worthless. Separating the experience, the end of the relationship, from our value as people. That's essential in order to truly heal.
Absolutely. In the source we have, the person seeking help, well, describes an overwhelming sadness. They say they feel invalidated, very depressed. They even say things like, I feel like I'm worth nothing. And on top of that, things get worse because their ex is already with someone else, which makes them feel like garbage. You can really tell they're suffering.
Oof, yeah. And it's right there, in the face of such a raw expression of pain, that the therapist steps in with something crucial: the language we use. She focuses on the phrase, they left me. She explains how that way of speaking puts us in a passive position, as if we were an object someone discards, almost like a package nobody wants anymore, you know?
Yeah, this reflection is powerful. It forces you to think about it differently. And the alternative the therapist suggests is, well, a complete change of perspective. She says that nobody leaves a person as if they were a thing. The person who ends the relationship is making a decision about that specific relationship for their own reasons, their own feelings, whatever it may be. But, she insists, that has nothing to do with the other person's worth. She basically says something like, That decision is about what that person is experiencing in the relationship, not about you. We are not objects that get left behind.
Exactly. And that idea ties directly into what she wants to emphasize. Our worth as people is something, let's say, intrinsic, constant. It doesn't go up or down depending on whether we're in a relationship or not, or if someone decides to leave. As she says, we were worth the same before, during, and we are worth the same now, after the breakup. Our value does not depend on other people's decisions.
Grieving, which is normal and something we have to go through, makes us stronger. A relationship has been lost, plans, companionship. That hurts.
Of course, it's logical.
But on the other hand, there's feeling like garbage, feeling like you're worthless. And that, she says, is not the same thing. Being sad is a healthy and necessary thing. Feeling like trash is a distortion, right?
Exactly. She emphasizes that difference. We're going to grieve the loss, yes, but keeping it completely separate from our self-worth. It's not the same to be grieving as it is to feel useless.
Okay, I understand.
So the approach she suggests is, well, to allow yourself to go through that grief, to feel that sadness, but always with the awareness that our worth is still there, untouched. She talks about revaluing yourself, about remembering who you are beyond that specific relationship, and about keeping in mind that, well, in the future you'll probably meet other people. People who will see and connect with the value you already have.
So, to sum up the lesson from this therapy, it seems that what's crucial is that, even though grief hurts a lot, the way we tell ourselves the story and how we perceive our own worth in the midst of it all is what really makes the difference in recovering well.
Basically, that's it, yes? It's a very important reminder. Someone else deciding to end a relationship is not a judgment about who we are or how much we're worth. Our intrinsic value is still there. External circumstances don't change that.
And this, of course, leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? For everyone who's listening. In those moments of intense vulnerability after a breakup, to what extent do we let our sense of self-worth depend on external validation, on the partner who left? And above all, how can we work to build a stronger self-esteem? One that's more independent of whether we have a partner or not, of the ups and downs of relationships.
That's a good question to end on, yes. It really makes you think.